Be careful out there, business heroes. There's a piece of the entrepreneurial puzzle that often gets overlooked, and when we do, we can end up in a world of hurt. And that is, what do we actually do with our money after we make it and then pay ourselves?
Fine leather goods. Treat yourself.
We can build an awesome business and work our butts off, making as much cash as we possibly can, but if we're not thoughtful in how we save and spend our income,
I'm gonna treat myself.
we can sabotage our business and personal growth and find ourselves trapped on this downward spiral of debt and dissatisfaction.
Laser my nails off, please.
That's why I've invited my friend and fellow entrepreneur, Sarah Graham, to join us today and share her expertise on how to get the absolute most out of our hard-earned income. Sarah, I know you are probably giving up your nap time. You have some little ones, and this is like a prime time slot, so I really appreciate you spending it with us. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, and thanks so much for having me today, Dave. It is a prime time, but I am happy to carve this time out to, talk with you today. So thank you.
I've been following your little journey, and I'm really curious. You were a nurse, you had the baking gig for a while, but now you're building something new. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're spending your prime time slots and, what you're working on nowadays?
I felt called by the Lord to come home and leave my job as a nurse several years back, and to really just take on this role of really being home with my children. I really thought that it was important that I raise them. And I thought during that time that, because we lost a pretty big income, I needed to kind of step back a little bit and, become more frugal. And so I started, and I, wanted to also during that time bring in some extra income. So I did start the baking business, which was really great for a few years. The economy has since, taken a little bit of a turn. So most people can't afford the luxury items that I was producing, and that's okay. And it's totally fine. But that has, now led me to the whole idea of Faith Homestead. I'm really into homesteading. We have a very small parcel of land. We're under an acre here where we live, but you can do so much with such a small space. And my message is that it doesn't matter if you're living in an apartment or you have 50 acres, you can take small steps to self-reliance and self-sufficiency and to save money. A big thing that we talk about is getting out of debt, having that burden, taken away. And there are ways to do it. And so we just really work on just slashing all of these things that we do on a daily basis that we don't even think of. And we live in a very fast-paced world, and it's really easy to just, throw things away and to, buy things that are in prepackaged containers. And we just need to take a step back and realize how much we're spending.
That's great. That is, especially today, as you mentioned, with everything that's happening in the economy, but even when things are going great, you should be wise with your resources and not living beyond your means. I think the message you are sharing with people is a very important message. But I do miss your chocolate covered pretzels.
Thank you. I'll make you some anytime, Dave.
Okay, awesome. We were talking beforehand. I've been working on a little series on money-related content, and I've had people on the show talk about how to manage finances, how to make more money. I just recently posted a review of a bank where to put your money, but I wanted to bring you in so you could speak to this, where now that you've made your money, how can you spend it wisely or not spend it at all? How can you save? How can you get out of debt? So I would love to hear some more details. If you have any practical steps, where would be a good place for people to start?
Just start by reducing the waste that's in your house. And my number one key thing for reducing waste, you are not going to go back to the grocery store until you exhaust all the food that you bought. We're not throwing any spring mix away. It's not getting tossed in the trash. If we make hamburgers, we are going to be eating those hamburgers. Even if there's half of a burger left, you're going to put it in a salad the next day. Every single American can reduce waste in their house and save hundreds of dollars by doing that. One of the biggest areas that we spend money is food. We all need to eat. We know that. But it is really important to follow sale ads. And I know that seems, kind of mundane to get a bunch of sale ads and to have to flip through them every week. But if you spend the time if you have 3 stores around you where you live and you look through those sale ads and only purchase the things for your family that are in that sale ad, you will reduce your budget by hundreds of dollars per month. Our goal is to pay off our mortgage, to get out of the remaining student loan debt that we have. And so we are tackling this head on. And so we've had to adjust. And there are things that we used to buy. They're comfort foods. They're things that are not on sale in the store. And so we don't buy them anymore. And that was an adjustment for our family. But now we're used to it. And we don't wake up in the morning and say, you know what, we would really like to have steak today and go spend $30 on steaks. We don't do that. But what we do is when we find, let's say steaks on sale, they're on manager special, they're reduced, we will buy those up and they'll go in our freezer. And then when we want to have steak, we have them because we bought them on special. Then whatever you want, you can just grab right out of your freezer. So that goes for, meats, for produce. That's one way to save. Another thing would be to start making your own foods from scratch. It's absolutely unequivocally cheaper to make your food from scratch.
Now, it might be cheaper financially, but you do have to spend a little extra time to do some of this stuff. I was thinking when you're saying these prepackaged foods, like a pre-sliced avocado that's like in a box in plastic. It's like, what is this? Or pre-peeled hard-boiled eggs. I'm like, is this really economical?
No.
But it is convenient. It does save some time. I don't know how much time the hard-boiled eggs saves, but there are some things that you could make an argument, well, I just don't have time for this.
Sure.
This is the best thing for me to do, even though it's a little bit more money. What would you say to that?
My question would be pretty frank. And I would say, how much time are you watching? How much TV are you watching during the week? How much scrolling on your phone are you doing during the week? Are you willing to carve out an hour or two on a Sunday evening, on a Saturday evening to just really kind of prepare for the week? I think if we really, looked hard, we could probably find that time. And so I think it really comes down to, and I understand, we're all tired. There are many of us who are dual earner income households. We used to be dual earners. So I understand that struggle. It's exhausting. You come home from work, you have to you have this limited time to get the kids, fed and put to bed. And it is exhausting, but maybe make it a family event on Saturday. You guys all get together after lunch and we prepare for the week. Just some thoughts. I think we could probably carve the time out if you saw the amount of money that you would save in a month, if you did this challenge for just a month, I think you would be willing to carve out that 2 hours.
Yeah. I guess that's something that you just have to do the math. Everybody's situation is a little bit different.
Absolutely.
And you have to weigh, is this actually worth it for me to save this much time? But I love what you said. Like, how do you want to actually spend your time? A lot of times we tell ourselves, I was like, oh, I'm just too busy. It's like, are you actually too busy? Or are you just not really prioritizing your time or even thinking about where your time is going? I think that's something that we could all benefit from, just like, oh, let's stop, kind of audit some stuff and figure out where we actually want to be heading, where we actually want to go. Kind of going on a rabbit trail, but one thing that I'm seeing emerge in this conversation, there's a lot of shared DNA between what you're doing as like a homesteader, as somebody who's trying to save some money, and entrepreneurs who are trying to make money. And even just the whole time discussion, like, how much time are you spending watching Netflix? And what else could you be doing with that time to actually get more value out of yourself, for yourself and your family? And I think there's a lot of common threads there. Do you see that as well?
Yeah, I absolutely see it. And, as a homemaker, an aspiring homesteader, there are days where I look in the mirror and I'm like, Sarah, I don't think there's another second in the day for you to do anything, especially work on building a platform. But you really just have to prioritize what is important. And, I do most of my platform development. I do it when my kids go to bed. So most people, they put their kids to bed. They have that 1 or 2 hours a night that they can just sit down on the couch and just kind of decompress. I think for most Americans, that would be an accurate statement. They put their young ones to bed and they have an hour or two before they are in bed that they just kind of like decompress. You really have to choose what, like you said, is the priority. And for me, my working hours are between 8 and 11 every single evening is when I do everything that I need to do on social media, platform development. And sometimes, during nap time, if I'm like, for example, when we're done this call today, I'm going to work on my blog post that needs to go up tomorrow. And so I'm going to take that time to do it because it has to get done because consistency is the key.
What you just said kind of reminds me of something you mentioned earlier. You still get to eat steak. Like you're working hard and you're laying the groundwork. Frugality isn't austerity. Like you're
No.
not just denying yourself just because you don't think you deserve or like and you see no way out and it's just rice and beans for the rest of your life. You're working
Absolutely
hard
not.
now and you're saving now so you can freely enjoy things later down the road. You're being wise about this,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't mean that you're just denying yourself and like just whipping yourself on the back. Like
Yeah.
this lifestyle isn't about just not enjoying life. It's actually the opposite.
It is
It's
100% the opposite. And I truly I'm grateful that you brought that up because I think there's a huge misconception behind frugality and behind, just minuscule life where we have, like beans and rice, like you said. Now, of course, not everybody has the space to have a deep freezer and things like that. But I have worked, every time I find a sale deal that is, a great deal, I buy it and I put it in my freezer. So truly, we eat whatever we want and we just are happy knowing that we paid a fraction of the cost for it. And I think what with homesteading too, and with the whole frugality mentality, it's truly this is the happiest and most fulfilled that myself and my family have ever felt, on this journey to debt payoff. It's just, having a life that has such substance to it. And we're just so grateful that we have, been given the, capacity to do this and to walk this life.
when you don't live with intentionality, you start to fall into this spiral where I don't have any time. Let's just order out. Let's go out to eat. Let's spend more money. But then that kind of racks up debt. And now you have to spend more time working harder to get out of debt and you burn yourself out. And then you get back home. And so you just spend more money to try to buy some more time for yourself. But it's this downward spiral. And are you actually enjoying your life anymore? Or would actually pumping the brakes, taking a good assessment of where you're at and where you actually want to go, and realize that making some of these moves that might feel like you're denying yourself, that might feel a little bit uncomfortable in the short term, are actually going to really pay off down the road.
I think that right now, I've only been building this platform for a year, Faith Homestead, and I already can see some of the fruits of my labor. My biggest goal is that I'm enlightening people. I'm showing people that there are ways to become more self-sufficient. You wouldn't believe the amount of people that message me, on a weekly basis, telling me that they've made bread for the first time, that they, have dehydrated apple slices, and they never thought that they would be able to do that. But I was able to inspire them. I had someone message me the other day saying that they planted seedlings for the first time and that they went out and got grow lights and that they feel so accomplished because they were able to put something in dirt and watch it grow. And there is no greater satisfaction for me than to have people reach out to me and to let me know that the things that I'm posting, the videos that we're posting on YouTube, are actually impacting people in such a positive way. And that makes every single hour that I could be watching Netflix, which is not even something that I should be doing. It makes it all worth it. So
That's awesome. Yeah, just to see it start to bear fruit.
absolutely.
And one thing that I hope that people watching this are picking up on, we don't have it all figured out,
No,
right? Like we're working through this and we're building something and we're all at different stages. But the reality of entrepreneurship, self-employment, running your own business, doing any of this is it's a slow build. And also, you don't have to get to the mansions and the private jets to have success. Like you just described a very beautiful thing and a lot of satisfaction in the work, already that you're able to experience, knowing that you're doing something purposeful and adding value to other people's lives.
absolutely.
For me, just being able to spend more time with my family and know that they're going to eat, like if we just hang out here, I would love to make a little bit more money and provide better for them, go on some trips, be generous. Like I want to grow. But where I'm at right now, this is good too. This is a good place to be.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It is such a good place to be. And of course, like I've made a little bit of money. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've made some money, but I never started this to even really make money. This was just a passion of mine. My goal was to really just show people that they are truly capable. I feel like I mean, this is my personal opinion, but I feel like we've kind of been, lied to. I feel like we've been lied to when it comes to just like the whole progression of our lives. And I really, Matt and I really wanted to show that there was a way to go back to basics and to really be happy and content living a life that is simple. Like we don't need to go do all these things to be content. And my true mission with Faith Homestead is to really just show people that that is truly possible. That if you are feeling the call from God to step away from corporate America, to be home with your children, that you can make it work. There are ways to make it work. And I just really want to inspire people that they can too do what we're doing here.
Well, thank you for taking the time to share and inspire my audience. Where can people get more inspiration? Where can people follow you and
Yeah,
learn more about what you're
absolutely.
doing?
Absolutely. So you can go to our website, which will, show you all the different ways that you can get connected with us. We are at www.faithhomestead.com. And you can find us at the handle Faith Homestead on all social media, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of those.
All right. Well, we'll be sure to follow you there.
Thank you
Thank you
so much
again,
for having
Sarah,
me.
and hopefully you can bang out that blog post and enjoy the rest of your nap time.
All right. Thank you so much, Dave. Have a great day.
Thank you for watching. I hope you got a lot out of this interview, not just practical tips and encouragement from Sarah, but I hope you're walking away feeling challenged to build something for the long term, to build something sustainable. And sometimes that takes time. So be patient with yourself. And as you go through seasons of stretching and squeezing, remember you're planting seeds that are going to bear delicious, juicy fruit for you and your family down the road. Not the gum, the metaphorical kind. You know what I mean. Be sure to follow Sarah. I'll drop links below to her website and her podcast. And if you want to hang out with me and Sarah a little bit more, you can join us in the Platform Launchers Membership Club. If you are interested in growing and monetizing a podcast, a YouTube channel, a blog, a book, you name it, Platform Launchers has a ton of great resources and a ton of great people to help you build a profitable and sustainable online business. You can learn more at platformlaunchers.com, and if you sign up with my link, sidekick.show/PL30, you can get a free 30-day trial. Normally it's only 14 days, but you use my link and you could get more than twice as much time to check out the platform, peruse the different video resources, and attend the weekly live calls and hang out with awesome people like Sarah and myself. I mean, I don't know. How awesome do you think I am? Probably not that awesome. So Sarah's the selling point, and other people like her. As you often hear me say, self-employment is not by your self-employment. I hope that you can find a friend and a sidekick for your self-employment journey. If you have any questions or if there's anything I can do to help point you in the right direction, feel free to drop a comment below or reach out to me at selfemploymentsidekick.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.